Back again. Kelly's back. Tell a friend. Hi. Here I am again. What is this, like my 6th upload? Finally, it's about time. Happy holidays? And you know, at the rate I've been going, by the time you see this, it's probably next year. Happy New Year! Welcome back to my channel, back to my closet. Finally. お前はもう死んでいる。何? I'm here. The question is, where have I been? And the answer is complicated, mostly busy with other things, but also just a lot of like getting sick. So as I'm sure most of you know, since most of my subscribers are just personal friends and family, hi to anyone on the internet who's just watching this. But I'm sure, as most of you know, I work at a movie theater. It's very fun. I do genuinely enjoy my job. But you know, sometimes customers can be complicated and you gotta move quick, and it's just, it can be stressful. It's like any line of work. And that's kept me very, very busy the past few months, because I've been there since Labor Day weekend, so I've worked there for a decent while now. And no, I'm not gonna name which like theater or which corporation I work for, because I'm not trying to get fired. Because I know the slightest negative thing I say, they're gonna hit me with slander. So that shall remain anonymous on this channel until I either quit or get fired. We'll see what comes first. But I thought it would be fun, a fun little return video if I sort of, we kind of looked back at, not really this past year, like the past maybe like 4 months since I started working at the theater. Just all the films that have been released that I've had to endure as a theater employee. Since a certain film is releasing soon that we will get to in a little bit. But let's just jump right in. It's been too long. I'm impatient. I know you're impatient. Let's just go over every film that from Labor Day weekend to the end of the year that I have endured while a theater floor staff employee. Here we go. So as I've mentioned like twice now, I started working Labor Day weekend, and the biggest film to drop that weekend was Shangqi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. In fact, that was the only film from that weekend, I'm pretty sure, that like my theater actually got. So here's the thing about movie theaters. When there's like most, like your typical weekend in the film industry, the American film industry at least, will have anywhere from like 5 to 10 movies releasing. Some of them are like in select cinemas only. Some of them are wide releases and will be sent out to the majority of theaters. But even then, because, you know, some theaters are small and can't like just rotate every single weekend to invite whatever dozen or so new films are new that weekend. So usually each weekend my theater will get 1 or 2 new films, maybe 3. And Shang-Chi is all we got. That's all we got for Labor Day weekend. But I mean, that's all we needed, because if I remember correctly, it was pretty busy. It was far from the busiest I've ever seen it, but Shang-Chi was one of definitely the first major releases I remember, like one of the few first ones in the reopening after the pandemic. And so there were a lot of people who were coming back to the theater, but it was still kind of slow because there were still a lot of people who'd rather not, maybe wait just a little bit longer. As for the movie itself, I haven't seen it. I do get rewards and stuff for like being an employee. I get, you know, like free movies and concessions discounts and things like that. But the catch-22 is you don't really get to use them if you're working all the time, and I'm working all the time, maybe. So, uh, I haven't seen most of the films I'm about to give a little 2-sentence review for. I'm just gonna sum up my thoughts based on if I've seen like the trailer or the posters and the crowds I had to deal with for them. Major factor for me. Shangqi, that one gets a thumbs up from me. That's A-okay. Seemed like it seemed like it was gonna be a good movie. Kind of wish I had seen it. Though not like overly sad that I didn't. I've never like I love. I mean, I know Marvel's huge, and I'd be lying if I said I haven't seen like any of the films or if I wasn't into it. But I'm not like a super fan. I don't follow it like really closely. But anyway, I should probably move on now. Ooh, I hit my mic. All right. September 10th. That's the next Friday, and Friday is always the movie release day. The movies that released on September the 10th that my theater got were Malignant and Show Me the Father. Malignant. Heard great things about it. Didn't do so well. At least not in my theater. No one ever saw Malignant. I mean, there was maybe a few customers, but I mean, I heard it was good. I heard it was good, so just a cruel twist of fate on that one. Show Me the Father is a film by the Kendrick brothers. That's all I need to say. If you're watching this and you recognize that name, you already have an opinion on the Kendrick brothers. Either way. Moving on. The next weekend would have been the 17th. We actually got 3 films that weekend. That was a busy weekend. Those 3 films were The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Cry Macho, and Cop Shop. I don't recognize any of those film names. Just doesn't ring a bell. And I think that's all I really need to say for this one. I think I remember I had like 2 people come in and buy tickets for Cop Shop on like a very slow Sunday. And Cry Macho was a Clint Eastwood movie that no one ever knew about because no one went and saw that one either. And The Eyes of Tammy Faye, isn't that a re-release? Why is that on here? I thought that film came out a while. No, that's 2021. Okay. I don't remember any of these. Not memorable. They were, I guess everyone was still just going to see Shangqi. Because no one bothered to see any of those. A film that did come out that weekend, though, that I actually thought looked really good, was this one called Blue Bayou. And that one my theater did not get. And kind of upset over that. I mean, like, nothing I can really do. But just, I had seen the trailer for that one. It looked really good. I really wanted to see it. And it never came to my theater. After that, we got the weekend of September 24th, in which Dear Evan Hansen came out. And that movie bombed. Everyone had high hopes, like, oh, cool, musical, Broadway adaptation. And then it came out, and it got torn to shreds by critics and by the box office. I remember a couple people actually coming in to see Dear Evan Hansen. And I remember seeing them walk out a little early. Yeah. Once again, I actually don't know. I mean, I've heard the criticisms, but I don't know. I've never seen it. So, Venom, Let There Be Carnage opened on October 1st, and that movie played forever. There was never... Venom was weird because there was never really like a crowd for it. We never had a big rush of people coming to see Venom. But the way my theater works is it's based on, and this is how most theaters work, by the way, too, if you don't know. It's based on demand. So, like, how long a movie, a film will stay in your local theater is just based on how many people come to see it. And there was never a huge crowd for Venom, but that stayed in for like a solid 7 weeks. 7 or 8, because from October 1st all the way to Thanksgiving weekend, when we had to boot it out to make room for Encanto, which we'll get to here soon, it just was there forever. And people did keep like trickling in to go see it. But there was never like a huge rush for it. It was just like each weekend to get median amount of people coming to see it. Which is just really weird. That's really weird how that worked, and how long that movie lingered in my theater, taking up screens. Rivaling Venom was The Many Saints of Newark and The Addams Family 2, both of which also came to my theater. And let's start with The Many Saints of Newark. The Many Saints of Newark is another scenario, kind of like, what was it? I just said it. I just went over this. Malignant. Another scenario, kind of like Malignant, except even more poignant, I think. This is a film based on The Sopranos, where it was just like, it got a lot of critical praise. Like, it got a lot of good reviews. Really, really good reviews. But nobody went to see this movie. I mean, no one. And no one had even heard of it. Sometimes I'll have people come into the theater and come to the register and ask me, like, what is playing? And I'd, say, we have The Many Saints of Newark. And they go, what's that? This movie just was not advertised very well because no one knew about it. No one knew it was coming, and no one went and saw it. And it bombed. The studio is estimated to have lost like 30-something or 40-something $1 million, I think it was. I saw an article about it the other day. So, sometimes these things happen in the film industry. The Addams Family 2 is one of the few children's movies that was released this past year. Like 90% of the films I'm about to list off to you are either PG-13 or R. The Addams Family 2 is PG. So a lot of people took their kids to see The Addams Family 2. And that's probably the only reason why that film made money, because that whole franchise is fucking garbage. Not The Addams Family as a whole, just the modern remake that started in like 2018 are trash. Here's something weird. A Monday release. On Monday, October the 4th, God's Not Dead, We the People, the fourth God's Not Dead film, premiered at my theater as a 3-night only event, which would be Monday through Thursday. And I didn't work those days. So I really have nothing to say. Weird release date. Weird that one didn't get a full wide release. I know the God's Not Dead movies are popular. Though personally, I don't see why. But it's kind of like a Kendrick Brothers thing. You already have an opinion on this. You don't need to hear me. So, moving on. October the 8th, we got No Time to Die. My stepdad is like a huge Bond fan. I mean, really anything like vintage, any media or cars or technology from like the 60s through the 80s, he's really into. And my parents were talking about seeing it, and they never did. Their loss, I guess. I hear it's good. They just never found the time. I really don't know what to say. I've never been like too into Bond myself. I mean, I recognize the historical and cultural significance, and I'm sure if I were to ever watch a Bond film, I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. I like Daniel Craig. He's a good actor. I really have nothing to say about this film. It's another one of those ones that just sort of, I mean, there was certainly more of a rush for No Time to Die than there was most other films. But I don't know, I guess just because I never went and saw it, just kind of came and went for me. And that was the only thing that came out on the 8th, because people were still going to see Venom. I'm going to be saying that a lot. Better get used to that. Alright, October 15th. And the releases we have for October 15th are Halloween Kills. I fucking hate Halloween Kills. What the fuck was Halloween Kills? Why did anyone go see this movie? Why? Okay. Why? Why would anyone want to see the 12th fucking movie in any franchise where every single film is just the exact same thing? Okay, this is going to turn into a little bit of a vent, if you couldn't already tell. This movie makes me angry. This movie makes me enraged. Because I have never, ever seen a bigger crowd for anything except maybe like a few concerts I've been to. Our theater was over fucking run with people for this movie. And I don't get the hype. It's not even that I don't get the hype. No one gets the hype. This film bombed, except for at the box office. The critical reviews are absolutely awful. Just rip this movie to shreds. And good. Did this franchise really need a 12th film? I say let it die.
Let it die, let it die, let it shrivel up and... Come on, who's with me, huh?
But no, Hollywood's got to make its money. And you know what? People went and saw it. It made an absolute killing, all pun intended, at the box office. And it really didn't deserve to. And October 16th, the next Saturday after that, because I was there the whole day Saturday. At least with the 15th, I got some time, like, off, I guess. Not really. I was at school, so I couldn't be at the theater most of the day. But I was there the entire day on Saturday the 16th, and that theater was packed. It was overrun. Every show was sold out for nothing, for this awful movie that didn't deserve the attention and yet made millions anyway. And made me the most stressed I've ever been, not just at work, but just doing anything in general. I sometimes get like acid reflux. This is probably a culprit in that. It felt like I had a heart attack at work that night. Like I was literally on the floor gulping water. I'd never ever been more stressed. And it was all over a movie that deserved absolutely no one's time and attention. I mean, the 12th fucking installment in the genre. Who needs 12 movies? I'm calm. I'm composed. I'm Kelly. The Last Duel. The Last Duel is what everyone should have seen for the October 15th weekend. Because from everything I hear, that was actually a decent film. And I mean, I've heard so much about the director, Ridley Scott, just that he's really good. And this was the lowest performing film of his career. Like, it really bombed. I think it's sort of just the Many Saints of Newark situation where it wasn't advertised very well. I don't remember seeing much, hearing or seeing much about The Last Duel. I think had it been advertised more, it probably would have done better. But it just had to come out the same weekend as Halloween. God, I hate that movie so much! The weekend of October 22nd saw Dune and Ron's Gone Wrong and The French Dispatch come into my theater. 3 films, which is one of our busier weekends, as I've stated before. Dune depends on your taste. You're either going to love or hate this movie. If you're really, really into the science fantasy genre, I mean Star Wars type stuff, you're probably going to love this. If you aren't, then you're wasting 3 hours of your life. That's what I've heard. Ron's Gone Wrong, my friend Ryan and his girlfriend came into my theater to see Ron's Gone Wrong. And those are the only 2 tickets I remember selling to Ron's Gone Wrong. I know I sold more, but those are the only 2 I really remember. Once again, just kind of underhyped. That one I've heard like average mixed reviews about, kind of like, yeah, it was good, but not exactly like the highest of praise. But it's one of the few family films that released this year, I know. So that was definitely something that I'm sure a lot of people took their kids to, just because it was either that or you were going to see the Addams Family 2, and no one wants to see the fucking Addams Family 2. The French Dispatch. Now, this is a film that I actually had really wanted to go see and almost had the chance to. The day I went to buy tickets, though, is also the same day that it was pulled out of theaters. I was pretty excited about this film. I mean, Wes Anderson's a really amazing director. I just love, I think Isle of Dogs is probably my favorite by him. And I know The French Dispatch is another one. A lot of films this past year, it was like there was no middle ground. You either did really, really well or you were a flop. And this is one that I guess managed to meet in the middle because it did break even. But it already, as far as I'm aware, had a smaller budget to begin with. So, when compared to some of the other bigger releases of the year, it kind of flopped. French Dispatch, kind of underrated. I don't know if it's been put on a streaming service or something. I think it was. Wherever you can see it, go give it a watch. Go give it a try. And that brings us to October 29th. And the first release that I want to talk about of October 29th is Antlers, which is also the only release that my theater got for October 29th. And it's also the first film on this list that I actually went and saw. I enjoyed Antlers. It was a good movie. If I were to compare it to a previous, I guess, reviewed film I've already covered on this list, you know how I was talking about Ron's Gone Wrong being kind of middle of the road, yeah, that was good. That's how I feel about Antlers. It was above average, but I wouldn't give it super high praise or anything. If you're looking for a good horror film, Antlers is a really good horror film. If you're not really into horror, don't waste your time. I did obviously, it leaned more into some of that Native American representation in our media, which was nice to see, very refreshing. I wish it had gone a little more into that. Other than that, just an all-around decent film. Enjoyable, worth the experience, worth my time and money. Even though I didn't spend that much money because, I get those discounts and stuff. But just, yeah, that's Antlers. Good horror film. Thumb up. And that brings us to November and The Eternals. The Eternals was busy when that one arrived, but not as much as Halloween Kills, for some reason. And I will make the argument that Eternals is much better than Halloween Kills. I know. It's controversial to call Eternals good. I've heard what everyone said about it. Honestly, I think a lot of the pushback is just it was unexpected of Marvel to make I'm going to keep using that term, middle of the road film when it comes to reviews, because from what I've heard, it is all around a good film, but it is well below average for Marvel standards. And I think that initial kickback was just because the fans were expecting better from Marvel. But hey, not everything can be perfect. Sometimes you just take a little misstep, I know the film did do very well, at the box office. So don't worry, Marvel is not going anywhere, not for several years at the very least. I know they got films planned until 2027. But yeah, not much to say about that one. It was big, but for me, just another one that kind of came and went. We also got Spencer that weekend, the film Spencer. Have you ever heard of the film Spencer? No? Me neither. Moving on. November 10th. Yes, 10th. We got a Wednesday release here, people. November 10th came Clifford the Big Red Dog. Another children's film. Once again, there wasn't a lot of children's films that were released this year. So At this point in time, too, Ron's Gone Wrong had stopped playing in my theater. So it was either you were going to see Clifford or you were going to see the Addams Family 2. And no one wants to see the fucking Addams Family 2. After that, we had a solid weekend, the 12th, where there was no new releases. I think that is the only weekend while I've been working at the theater that there was not a new release coming to my theater, which is pretty wild. I remember it too being pretty slow that weekend, except for Eternals, which was obviously a big thing. Oh, and Venom. People were still showing up to see Venom. And there was a few who still wanted to see the film we do not mention. But that leads us straight on to the November 19th. The weekend of November 19th, we had Ghostbusters Afterlife and King Richard release, and I hear good things about both of those. So Ghostbusters Afterlife is another one that I actually have gone and seen, and I thought it was pretty good. Not gonna lie, it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. It takes a little bit for it to find its footing, is what I found. But once it gets to like the climax of the film, that's where it really shines. Especially when you get to see some of the older stars of the original Ghostbusters movies come back and make their cameo appearances. I thought that Ghostbusters Afterlife was a fairly good film, and I know it's doing well in pretty much every regard, so good for it. That's all I can say. King Richard I have not seen, but I know a lot of people did actually go see, way more than was expected. I mean, it was still, at my theater, second to Ghostbusters Afterlife for the weekend that it released, but people did go and see that. And it's doing pretty well. I hear really good things. Maybe I'll watch it someday. It's about all I can say. All right. November's weird. So the 24th, which is another Wednesday, had a lot of releases. Like, a lot of releases. This one's a little more justifiable, though, because, it's Thanksgiving weekend. It's a holiday weekend, so the weekend really did kind of start on Wednesday, so I guess... Why was Clifford released on Wednesday? Why was it released on Wednesday? On a random Wednesday in early November? I don't get it. All that aside, first up, Encanto. Encanto is an amazing film from Walt Disney and Pixar. I call it amazing. I haven't seen it, but anything, and I mean absolutely anything that involves... Damn it, I'm drawing a blank. Lin-Manuel Miranda. But anything that involves Lin-Manuel Miranda, I mean, I automatically love it. Okay, listen. And Encanto just looks like an amazing film. I have full trust in what, like, Disney can do, even though I don't support some of their company's practices. That's a video for another day, though. But Encanto, go see it if you want to go see it. I'm sure it's amazing. I might go see it myself. Also, that weekend, House of Gucci released, and people only went to see House of Gucci because of Lady Gaga. That's not me speaking. Deadline Hollywood did a poll. 40% of respondents who had bought tickets to that movie said that they were only seeing it because of Lady Gaga. People just wanted to see Lady Gaga do funny accent. Did that movie really deserve to be seen? I don't know. I really haven't heard anything about it outside of, oh my god, it's Lady Gaga. And to be honest, the plot itself does not interest me, which is weird because I am usually interested by like true crime stuff, but something about this one just, meh. Maybe it's my personal hatred for the word Gucci. I can't really explain it. It's just like a pet peeve. I just really hate the word Gucci. Ew. It sounds like coochie. You're carrying around your coochie bag. Ew. So yeah, Lady Gaga! Also releasing that weekend, we had Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City, which looks horrible, but in a fun way. Video game movies have a certain reputation in the film world, and it's not great, but usually you can really attract an audience if you make a film that is so bad it's good, and that's how I've seen the trailer for this one a couple of times. That's how I really view it. I really just have nothing but positive things to say about this film, even though I'm sure on an objective level it absolutely sucks. It just looks like a riot, like just a fun time. I considered going to see that instead of Ghostbusters, actually. I ended up obviously going with Ghostbusters, but I was considering it. I was considering, like, there's also a Resident Evil showing tonight. Just, it looks absolutely incredible for all the wrong reasons. Alright, I was wrong earlier. We've had two weekends where there have been no releases, and the weekend of the 3rd was another one of those. Which I guess brings us to, as of me recording this video at least, the future. Probably by the time you see this, it will be, hopefully this weekend I'm about to talk about, if this comes out on time. But so on the weekend coming up, or as you're watching this on the current weekend, West Side Story is coming to my theater, and I'm sure it's going to do very well. How will it actually be? I don't know. To be honest, this one hasn't been advertised all that much. I mean, we have this really big poster in my theater. I've never seen a trailer, though. Never once. The poster ticks me off, though. And that brings us to the weekend of the 17th, in which we have Nightmare Alley coming to my theater. Nightmare Alley is a film by Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo.
Who also directed Antlers, which I already told you about before and gave good reception to. I'm also expecting good things from this film, because Guillermo del Toro has a really good reputation, especially with like horror movies, and this seems more like a thriller film, and I just personally enjoy thriller films. It's like my favorite genre. So I have high expectations. It's very, very stylistic. I can already tell just from the trailer, just extremely stylized. Can't wait, honestly. And that brings us to the 22nd. The 22nd? Is that another Wednesday release? What is up with all these Wednesday releases? Is that just like the new movie release day now? I guess we're no longer doing Fridays. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday the 22nd, we have The Matrix Resurrections and Sing 2. Matrix, cool, fine, you get a pass from me. I'm sure there's going to be major crowds for that, though, which is going to be another headache. Sing 2, I know there's going to be other crowds for it, and that is another film that probably won't deserve it. But we'll have to wait and see, I guess. And finally, December 25th, a Saturday, and also Christmas Day. So I don't know who the hell is going to be going to the theater on Christmas Day. But there is a release that day at my theater, and that is of American Underdog, an Erwin Brothers film, which you already have an opinion on the Erwin Brothers, so I don't need to get into that. And that should do it. I'm pretty sure that wraps up the year, unless there's something here I'm forgetting. No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home releases on the 17th. The crowds. The crowds are coming. The crowds are coming. All the orders. All the messes. All the broken seats. All the popcorn spilled. All the shouting. The noise. It's coming. Yeah, so Spider-Man's releasing on the 17th, and my theater already has over 600 pre-sold tickets. We don't usually see 600 people walk into that theater in a whole weekend, and this is just opening day. We have 600 pre-sales for opening day alone. We're actually staying open an entire hour just so we could fit in 2 more showings, because all our previous showings sold out. And all I ask of you is that this this holiday season, this season that is supposed to be of giving and of kindness, all I ask is that when you go to the theater to see Spider-Man No Way Home, and I know everyone watching is going to the theater to see Spider-Man No Way Home. Don't you lie to me. When you go, please be respectful to the people working there. We're just working minimum wage, trying to give you our best, get you your popcorn, get you on your way. So please, just be kind and be courteous. And enjoy the show. Sincerely. I'm going to see it because honestly, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Like I said, I'm not really too into Marvel, but of all the Marvel properties, Spider-Man's always been my favorite hero. But just all I ask is that you be respectful and that you be kind. And that should about do it for today. I'm going to try to make more content. I swear there will be more. Hope you enjoyed this long video though. This probably hopefully makes up for my time away because of just the runtime of this video. I should probably go do something else now. And I'll see you next time. Bye.